All right, guys. What is going on? What is good? What is good? Welcome to Wall Street Wednesday. It is Wednesday. um, yeah. We'll get into some stuff. If you guys have questions, ask them, and hopefully we have a good time. Hopefully so. What's good? Willow, Jorks, Eric, Roberto, Mason, Mark, Tordy, 2020, Eberneth, Slowly, Julius, Joey, Shorts paid today. Yeah. I wonder if anybody talked about those, or excuse me, talked about that low, that one yesterday. Which again, we did not. I said this in the market view. We did not get that in the session yesterday. But that was such an easy target for today. And moving beyond that, and I color coded some of these things so they're a little bit easier to see. Thank you, Roberto. There is January's low at 25,025. Interesting. And December's low, I think if I got that correct, yeah. And December's low here. So today has absolutely ripped. We ended up running the low from Monday, and then meeting January's low, moving beyond that into December's low, and moving beyond that. There's a potential for November 24th's gap. 2.2% lower on the day for NQ. Whereas ES, not so much. Right? Not so much. Barely taking out Monday's low. January's low still intact. December's low not even close. So something's going on in the tech world. You know, what is that? I don't know. I do not know. One thing though was good, capitalist. One thing though is AMD is getting wrecked. 16%. I think we saw PayPal yesterday at 22% or something. They're continuing to get absolutely bodied. Snapchat bodied. I don't even know if they're a part of the Nasdaq anymore, or if they are, how much weight they hold. They don't hold a lot of weight, unlike some of y'all's mom. All right, we got eBay in here. eBay was a little bit shocking. I'm not really sure what happened. I don't know if they had earnings or something, but they're down about 7%. These highs are still open, which is great. That's still going to give us a long-term. I'm expecting a long-term run above that, but given what we've done today, this looks like it really wants to trade lower for some of these lows first. So that would be good, and that would give us. Sometimes I'm funny. I know I repeat jokes a lot, but you know, what do you want from me? What do you want from me, chat? But that would give us some discount pricing if we can get like the 70s, 70, 78, 77, 75, maybe some shit. Something like that would be wonderful to get back above 100. But yeah, so the point is like AMD, eBay, Oracle. I mean, I haven't updated this list in a long time. Some of these may not be Nasdaq related. Intel, I don't really know. Meta has been cheeks the last few days as well. So hopefully that makes sense. There's a lot of movement in tech, right? A lot of tech companies. So that's why you see such a massive difference between the two. The two being Nasdaq futures and ES futures. See that? See how we're not trading lower? ES does have a lot of tech in it, but it has a lot of other stuff too. So the measurements are not the same. And when tech does bad, NQ does terrible. Okay? When tech does great, NQ flies. So it's a double-edged sword, if that makes sense. Drop some ones in the chat if you guys understand what I'm saying. While I take a sip of my bougie water. If you guys didn't know, I swapped over to Icelandic Glacial. I'm gonna phase out Mountain Valley because I follow a page that my friends share with me called Oasis, where they do lab testing on products. And I haven't verified this, but according to that page, they said that Mountain Valley was sold, to some big corporation, and the quality's gone down. Saratoga sucks too. Those were my two favorite waters, though, Saratoga and Mountain Valley, but apparently they're not as great anymore. And this is like one of the S tier waters that Sprouts has. Glass, not plastic, baby. So, health is wealth, Chad. Health is wealth. So, a little bit goes a long way. Anyway, so there's your explanation for that. Don't let me forget. Let's just get this knocked out of the way. We should celebrate with some McChickens. We're not gonna do it. At least I'm gonna try not to. But McDonald's, man, finally, dude, finally, good gracious, baby, all-time highs. Let's go. Let's go, chat. Gosh, that took a long time. That took a long time. But what did I tell you last year, baby? Last year, we got those highs and then all-time highs after that. We barely tapped equal highs in December. The Santa rally became a Santa reversal. So that was a yikes. Then we finally got back above it, and today we smacked. Don't you love that, chat? Don't you love the long-term plays? These are where some of the big gains are at, baby. Some of these big gains are at. Mind you, 11%. It's not a lot. It's not a lot. It might be a little bit more if we squeeze in a dividend in there. But hey, 11%, 12% is going to beat the brakes off of anything the bank will ever offer you. You know what I mean? And yeah, I agree. The glass is worth it. I don't like the plastic bottles. We got too much microplastics, and that stuff is not good. That stuff is not good at all. So yeah. But yeah, if you've been following along, McDonald's has finally hit all-time highs today, February 4th. So that's great. Hopefully it continues. Okay. Outside of that, I guess. Man. This weather change, dude, like, it's got me jacked up. Something like when the weather changes drastically. I'm not sick, but like sometimes I'll wake up with a runny nose or something. And That's why it might sound a little bit different, right? Not sick from the weather, but sick of these fucking retards who hit my inbox calling me bald when you got half a beard. Fucking idiot, dude. Did y'all see that yesterday? I mean, a ton of you thought that was hilarious. What an absolute goober. Anyway, let's go look at 8:30. Can't fix stupid, chat, as much as you want. I try to put out articles, I give people books to read, and they're just like, nah, I want to stay an idiot. It's all good, man. It's your life. It's your life. That's all they had? Yeah. And then when I asked him where the other half is his beard at, and he left me on red. It probably went back to work. He's probably at work right now with his stupid ass. Anyway, I know that's mean, but don't ever go full retard shot. Equities open, gave us almost no movement above, took out the low, no real reversal, and we just see a continuation for January's low, no real reversal, continue for December's low, no real reversal. So even though we're already, not we, but like as in Nasdaq already being down 2.4%, this to me just it seems very heavy, and it seems very wanting for 24,718. So I would absolutely not buy this right now. He said every legend turns bald. Michael Jordan, Tiger Woods, Kobe. Okay, well, we got some not the most moralistic people in the chat. Okay. I don't know about Kobe. I won't speak ill of Kobe, but Tiger Woods, absolute retard. Michael Jordan, douchebag to his fans. The guy's just an asshole. So I would rather not be compared to them. Maybe we could find some other cool bald guys, but like those guys are not it. Those guys are not it. Tiger Woods like cheated on his wife a lot, and like, come on, bro. We got to make better comparisons. Ryan Holiday talks about Tiger and stillness is the key. Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does. He talks a lot about Elon Musk in Wisdom Takes Work. It was utterly absurd. Bro has an obsession, which is strange. It's okay. Ryan has selective virtuism, or whatever it's called. Like, it's hard to explain. He kind of picks and chooses when to, use Stoic philosophy and when to not. So, listen, none of us are perfect, chat. None of us are perfect. Okay, we all get it wrong sometimes. We're all hypocritical sometimes. You know what I mean? Some of us are just more hypocritical than others. That's all. That's all. Good at their craft, though. Oh, I didn't say they weren't good at their craft. I didn't say they weren't good. They were amazing. They're best in the world at their crafts, of course. Doesn't mean they were good people, though. There was a book I read a few years ago on Kobe. It was from Tim S. Grover. It's called Winning, but the I is a 1. And that was, I believe it was one of Kobe's personal trainers. And I thought it was a good book, and I learned a little bit about Kobe, and I mean, it's cool. If there was ever like, I don't know how to say this. I think the term toxic positivity is stupid. Um, but if there was ever somebody who had, I don't even know what toxic positivity is. But if there's anyone who ever had it, it was probably Kobe, because he would dog people, but for the right reasons. He's like, why would I give you the last shot? I see how you practice. I wouldn't trust you with that. Give the ball to me. You know what I mean? Which, you know, makes sense to me. Blue haired woman at the gym yesterday with a F Elon Musk shirt on. Yeah, another Disney brained adult. But we don't want to get into politics today. I don't want to get into all that today. Main character syndrome. Bruce Willis and Jason Statham. Yeah. Yeah. That is a Bernie Mac reference if you did not know that. Looking at price action today, what I did notice was these highs in here. So if you take almost London's high, which is right here, that high right here, and then we have a lower high at 6 o'clock right there. You see that? We have a lower high right there. ES actually does trade higher, and then we get an inversion model here. Equities is right there. So equities trades back into that, then lower, then respects the mitigation to go lower. Imbalance here. It closes outside of that, but still continues lower. Trades up candles here to go lower. All of these just look heavy. Even Dow. Dow was trading higher. It's actually green for a while. And then it wasn't until about an hour ago it finally gave out and traded lower with the rest of them. Yeah, well, but you know that the thing is, man, and people got really heated at me yesterday for saying this on Facebook in a comment. None of those people know who I am, but um, what I thought was interesting is a lot of the adults that are advocating for these kids to um, leave school, right? Ditch school to go protest. And I just don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. And you know why? Is because I specifically remember being in middle school, and a lot of kids would they did the same thing. They skipped school to go protest. Now, mind you, middle school for me was like 2008, 2006, 2007, 2008, something like that, right? We're in our 30s now, though. And there's a lot of kids that I grew up with that are either dead or in jail, or they're just unsuccessful, or they're just ordinary. Like there's nothing special about them. And I'm not trying to be mean. There's a few of them that are highly successful. But out of all the people that I remember who went and did those protests, they're not doing very well in life. Okay? So that was kind of the point I made. I was like, you're teaching these kids that an education is not important. Now, school is bullshit, so I can level with you on that. But to go and protest, and you're not even old, your brain isn't even developed enough to understand what you're even protesting. You're just doing it because it's cool and you want to get out of school. You don't even know what you're talking about. You don't even know what you're doing. Right? These 16, 17-year-olds in politics, you don't know shit. You don't know anything about anything. You know what I mean? And so that's the issue that I have. It's not a good idea. You don't know the long-term effects of stupidity. I do, to some degree. So it's just sad to see. That's all I'm saying. It's just sad to see. You can believe whatever you want. Okay? There are people that go to the DMV and get their picture taken with a strainer on their head because they believe in the flying spaghetti monster. They believe in the flying spaghetti monster. Do you guys know what that is? Have y'all ever even looked that up? I rarely mention the flying spaghetti monster. Okay? Look, there's a real website. Welcome to the Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster. It's a real religion. These people believe in an actual spaghetti monster. It's a real religion. You can believe whatever you want. That doesn't mean what you believe in is real or true. You know what I mean? Or logical at that. So you can believe in drugs. You can become a drug addict too. See how that turns out. 17-year-olds in politics is very similar to the 20-year-old fitness influencers. Yeah, it's the same that, 20-year-olds selling, day trading courses. You've been trading for 6 months. The fuck do you know? I've held trades since you were in fucking diapers. You know what I mean? Like, come on, bro. What are we doing? You're an expert in 6 months. It's crazy to me. That's crazy. I agree, Willa. Focus on Jesus and my personal growth and being a positive influence on my circle. Yep, I agree. 90% win rate, Furus. Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, there have been cases where I'll be 90%. But I've always said, like, that doesn't sustain. I mean, you can see the stocks rate we have here, which is 80 to 90%. Adobe kind of fucked that up, or messed that up, sorry. I think there was another one that I got wrong. I don't know. But, stocks in the long term, that's easy. But yeah, the point is people are too young to know what they're even talking about. They just support stuff because it's cool. That's okay. I'm sure I supported stupid stuff in the past too. No, I mean nothing like the extreme stuff you see today. But it's just the mob, like one of you said earlier. It's just the mob. Avoid the mob mentality. Which is quite literally what the Stoics advocate for. They're like, when you go to the Roman Colosseum, everything's a Roman Colosseum today. But the actual Roman Colosseum, right? When they had gladiators fighting and all that stuff, like the movie Gladiator, right? All that stuff. Seneca and the other Stoics, they would tell you, look, when you go out there, avoid the emotions of the mob because it's easy to get swept away into what they're doing. They're calling for more blood and more murder, all this stuff. And they're just very violent and unhinged. He's like, you got to protect yourself from that. So, and I have a lot of respect for Ryan Holiday, but to see Ryan go be part of the mob that the Stoics tell you not to be a part of is absolutely insane to me. That's insane to me. That's like if I kept telling you guys, hey, this is how to read a book. This is book of the month. This is how you mark up a book. All these, I write articles and I just put one out yesterday. If I said all this stuff about books and books and books, and then I just didn't read myself. You know what I mean? That would be terrible. And that's why I said nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. And We justify exceptions for whatever reason. Oh, well, I know the Stoics said this, but the virtue of justice means more, right? And it's like, okay, you know, Willow. It's like Christians too. Christians do the same thing. Christians do the same thing. Well, this verse over here, but no, this verse over here. Oh, well, Old Testament. Oh, but New Testament. Oh, but this, that. It's a never ending thing. It never ends. Never ends. It ends when you turn off the TV. It ends when you uninstall the social media. It ends when you put the phone down and pick up a book. That's the only way this stuff ends. That's it. I'm working on not judging though. Yeah. Am I still bearish? Yeah. I would not long. I think the higher time frame pull is going to be down here. Now, again, I've already stated from equities open to where we are right now, it's already dropped an additional almost 2%. So, I mean, it's not to say that it can't retrace higher. I mean, it could. I don't think this is a long. I don't think it's the low. It could be. It could save this gap for another day. It could create the low of the day here at 11:50, another random time. Right? Interesting. Right. Interesting. They could, leave that, trade back into the range, and then go for, like, Thursday would be running Wednesday's low, previous day's low, and then into that gap. I mean, I could see that too, but again, try to frame both sides. Can you frame a long here below January's low, below December's low? I mean, you probably could. It's an extreme discount. It's below old lows. Sure. Could you frame shorts? I mean, we do have a target. This is very, I would say, late in the current move. But what would be the probabilities? I think the probabilities is lower. So if I think the probabilities is lower, would I want to long? No, I would not. So I'm not going to long. You see how easy that is? What other questions do you guys have? We talked about McDonald's all-time highs. Another one, right? In my DJ Khaled voice. Another one. We talked a little bit about the indices on a higher time frame and this difference between NQ, why NQ is a lot lower versus ES, right? Because that might be confusing to some, even though I did talk about that yesterday. I said, well, the low may be set if NQ runs a low, but ES doesn't, right? I mentioned that, but for Monday's low, not for January's low. But I could see why some people would get confused if they looked at that, like, why is NQ lower and taking these out, but ES hasn't done that. And so we went into some individual stocks. We looked at a few different things, and I don't know how updated this particular list is. This might even be missing. I don't think AMD is on here. I'm pretty sure AMD is part of the Nasdaq, but again, I could be wrong. And some of those stocks in there are red. Google, Cisco, PayPal. PayPal was 20-something% down yesterday. Yikes. Intel, Nvidia, Tesla, Broadcom, right? And so that's kind of the difference there. How do you go about determining premium and discount? I've been using weekly open to current price to frame it, but curious how you go about it. So I've actually never seen that before. Joey, that's interesting to me. Okay. Hold on. The music had went out. I need to get that back on here. Okay. So premium discount. The thing about premium and discount is it's based on a range. Now the range that you use, that's up to you. It's a bit ambiguous. Okay? But what I will say is number one, higher time frames matter. Higher time frame range matters. The last few weeks or so, I have kept saying we are still within the range. We've still been working within this range from all-time high down to November's low. Okay? Because on a higher time frame like the daily, we are still within that range. We have not gone above that high, and we have not gone below this low. Okay? Because we're right here. So that's in between these, right? Real simple, real easy. A 4-year-old could probably do that. Okay? Now, the shorter term ranges, like last week on Sunday when I said, hey, I'm bullish, okay, that's because we had a short term low that was taken. So we had high resistant lows, and we had, I think there's small time frame lows in here and up here. So we had manipulation, balanced price range. So after that, okay, that's a stop loss. These are targets. We're more likely to trade higher, right? So we trade outside of the short term range. So that range could be from those highs here down to that low. You see what I'm saying? So now we have like the upper half of that range, lower half of that range, and you could work within that too. So it may get confusing if you mark up a lot of ranges. Okay? Now that's one way of doing it, which I think that's a good way of doing it. Now, as it relates to targets, as it relates to market maker models, especially, what I'm measuring is from my target. Like for in this example, because we have highs and we have a low and a lower low to go higher, once that low has been set, this now becomes its own range as well. So like those highs down to the low that's been set, now I'm working within this range. So this is now my premium discount. 50% and lower is discount. 50% and higher is a premium. Make sense? So then, as we move along, and until that range is broken, essentially, meaning we're either going to take out the low or take the highs. Below that is discount. Above that is premium. Now, how long do we consolidate for? I don't always know that going into it. Okay? But then we look for longs below all lows. We look for highs to be, either TPs, or we could expect that to be ran to go for the highs. It may not always do that. All right. Sometimes the market does come back, deep retracements. Not every trade you take is going to hit TP. Sometimes you'll break even. Sometimes you'll take a loss. That's part of the game. Okay. But when we're still working within that range, nothing is different as far as premium and discount. So then once again, I already went over this a lot last week. Manipulation still, and then balanced price range. So once we get that, okay, now we should be bullish. And then we got our run. Or, yep, right there. The December high right here. So we did get that run last week. See that? So does that answer your question? We have higher time frame ranges. Highest high, lowest low, based on current price. And then even within that, you can have
other ranges as well. So the best, I guess, way of going about it is like a top-down approach. Higher time frame premium discount, and then going into smaller time frame premium and discount. And then so if you're in a higher time frame discount and on a lower time frame discount, you got a good trade. That's based on logic. That's just logic. Okay? You still got to work within time and all that stuff. Time, price, and context. So hopefully that answers your question. So again, you just backtest that. Backtest everything I tell you. Matter of fact, just try to prove the things that I teach you to be wrong. You're better off doing that. You're better off probably doing that. Because you'll try. You'll try, and then you'll realize, like, oh, there's actually a lot of merit to this. So, yeah, I really don't have anything else if that's our last question. Did you guys start How Successful People Think yet? Have you started on our book of the month yet, chat? Is it wrong to use time before price for a range? I don't even know how to answer that, to be honest with you. I mean, I guess that, I mean, if you're on like a 5-minute chart, 1-minute chart, you could probably get away with it. But again, the best trades are going to have all three. They're going to be at the right time, at the right price, within the right context. So I don't think anybody's asked me that before. Interesting question. Still finishing How to Read. I got my books late, blocked. Like using where we are since the year has opened to where price is now. So that's like the opening price logic. Right? I taught that in the 48 Laws video as well. The yearly open is here. I know we got a lot of markups. I did that on purpose, but like that's the yearly open, right? So below the yearly open is a discount specifically for indices. Now, if it is a down year, you're going to have trouble trying to catch the low. And above the yearly open is premium. But it's a reference point. It's just like equities open. We want to short above equities open, ideally, or long below equities open, ideally. It's just a logic and a reference point. So like right now, for example, if you really believed like, oh, 2026 is going to be a really, really good year for stocks, it's going to be a good year for tech and AI, blah, 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 then you would be buying below the yearly open. Which is, to me, and I've never heard anybody else really talk about this, but that's the best way to outperform the stock market. If you buy below the yearly open. Because in order for the stock market, if it does go higher, which it usually does, but if it does, when it does go higher and hits all-time highs, you know, for the year, they're going to measure it from the open. So if the market did 5%, if Nasdaq does 5% a year, that's trash. But if it does 5%, that's cool. But if you went all in down here in that same price point, I don't know what I measured at, but you know, instead of being up 5%, you'll be up 7 or 8%. That's how you outperform the stock market. Still no indicators. Still no Excel spreadsheets. Still no advanced, X, Y equals MC squared nonsense. That's how you do that. Buy stock below the yearly open. Or more specifically, the indices. Buy, SPY below the yearly open, and you'll outperform SPY. Because you're getting in at a discount. So, all right. Well, that is going to do it then, chat. That is going to do it. So, bloody day. I don't think we're done. But, yeah. I will put out a market review tomorrow on Thursday the 5th. The next live stream for the free folks who are here will be the 9th. So I'll see you guys next week. I'll see you on Monday next week. Members, I'll see you tomorrow on Thursday for its market review. And then I'll see you on Friday for our next member-only live stream. Okay? So y'all be good, be blessed, make good decisions. Go read, either catch up on how to read a book or start Maxwell's How Successful People Think. I'm going to finish up Animal Farm personally today, and maybe tomorrow if I don't finish it today. I like Animal Farm. It's definitely not what I expected it to be. It's really cool. And yeah. So see you guys next time.
Bye.